Welcome back to the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. It is my pleasure to be here again. Thank you all for joining us. And of course, today I have another very interesting guest for you with a fascinating story, truly. He's been living two lives, but has dedicated himself to the spiritual craft now in Master Nick Eagle. So, Nick, thank you for joining me, and for those who may not be familiar with your work just yet, introduce yourself. What do you do? What's your secrets?
Honored to be here. What do I do? What's my secret? What do I do now? I spent the last 4.5 years building my awakening sanctuary here in Sedona, and I just started accepting guest requests. And I just released my book, The Golden Laws of Enlightenment. So the last 4.5 years have been dedicated to my awakening sanctuary and this book. Ever since my greatest awakening, that happened right prior to it. At the time, I was in the entertainment business. I was living in Las Vegas. And after the awakening, among many things that happened, one of them was I couldn't live in cities anymore. And 3 months later, I owned 12 acres here in some of the most powerful, beautiful, sacred lands in Sedona. My kitchen window, I have the closest home to Bear Mountain, which is the second largest mountain here, my favorite hike. And I am just so happy to be able to share my land and this place with people, as well as the teachings and the golden laws that came to me in this awakening.
Wow, that's awesome, and that's also quite the switch, I'd say, from the entertainment industry, which is, I mean, filled with well, all kinds of different stories. Let's say we've all heard them over the last few years. To now dedicating yourself to the spiritual craft. What made you make that switch? Make that drastic switch?
So my first awakening was actually in '05. Up until that point, I struggled greatly with my confidence. I was scared of my shadow. I lived in a constant state of panic. I had little guidance in my life. I had young parents, and it was a struggle. And I always wanted to be confident. I had a friend who was 16 who stripped. And when the town found out, everybody made fun of him. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I couldn't talk to a girl, much less dance in front of one, much less take my clothes off and dance in front of one. I thought it was the most courageous thing a man could do. And I'd see confident people, and I would know that I could do that. I always saw that we were one. When I saw somebody, it's like I have to figure that out. And the greatest awakening in '05 is when I finally had enough. I was done with this fear. I wanted to leave it behind. I came face to face with God, my higher self, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it. And when this happens to most people, especially without guidance, they choose fear because they're not ready to take responsibility and have true repentance to move forward. That's why there's this dark night of the soul. That's not something that has to happen. It didn't happen to me. I was done with the fear. I said, bring it. I will own this. I wanted to own it and take responsibility that it's my lack of effort. I'm choosing fear. I'm creating this. I'm conjuring this darkness. I'm making the world a less pleasant place for everybody because I'm choosing this fear and I'm lacking this effort. So on that day, I vowed to do everything I could to operate at the highest levels to give myself the best chance and opportunity. And 20 years later, now have my Enlightenment protocol, which is my life's work and my gift to the world that I love so much. And that's at nickeaglemystic.com. I recommend everybody to go to it. There's 100 things in there that the average person can apply to their life that they maybe haven't thought about to operate at the higher levels. And I lost track of the question a little bit. What was the question?
um, why the why or how the drastic switch from entertainment
Okay,
to
okay,
now
okay.
teaching and teaching enlightenment?
Yeah, so the Greatest Awakening put me in that direction, and I actually ended up stripping and conquering my fears and going to Hollywood. And I've that day when I vowed to operate at the highest level, I also vowed to step on every stage that presented itself to become confident. And my friend and this stripping thing was always in the back of my mind. I'm like, I got to do that someday. So I did that. I did improv classes, scene study classes, a little stand up. I did music. I started performing my music on stages as well. And I was auditioning around Hollywood. Auditioning too. That's intense. Sometimes you're in front of a bunch of people, but I just went for it. I went all in. My first audition ever, I was holding a piece of paper. I'll never forget it. It was a scene with Jenna Jameson too. And she was huge at the time. And I was holding my scenes. I didn't have them memorized. And I was shaking so hard that I couldn't even read the script. It was it was one of the biggest failures of all time. But I stuck with it. I've continued to take advantage of every opportunity and every experience, and I started perfecting my craft and stepping into my power and learning this confidence. And I started nailing auditions after a few years of doing this, and jujitsu too. I was doing jujitsu tournaments, everything I could, and my representation told me to never do adult and never do reality. And Gigolos came along. And I auditioned for Gigolos, which was an adult reality show. And I nailed the audition. They wanted me. Um, I was also rapping at the time. So this, how could they say no to a rapping gigolo? That's what I thought too. I freestyled at parties and, I was,
Yeah.
so I decided to say I'm a rapper too, because I know that that would probably get me on the show, and it definitely helped. And, but it wasn't an adult reality show. It was an original Showtime series set to go 6 seasons. And a struggling actor, no struggling actor would say no to something like that.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So and another stage to do adult dating and adult dating scenes, knowing that this is Showtime, tens of millions of people are going to see these scenes that, I write some of them, they're a little thought out, but they're not scripted. So and
Right.
it's one take. They want you to mess up. It's reality TV. They want you to look like a clown. They clowned us the whole time. So it's one take, and I got to nail this take, knowing there's 3 cameras on me, and I might have to take off some clothes, and there's 10 million people who are going to watch, and that's where do you go from there? So that really allowed me to step into my power. I did an interview with Hustler magazine. They labeled me confidence man, and that's when I started running with that more. And I wrote my first book. At the time, I was Nick Hawk. After this awakening, I became Nick Eagle. I had an eagle visit me, and it was beautiful. We can talk about more of that later on if you'd like. But I was Nick Hawk, and I wrote Nick Hawk's 100 Kicks in the Ass, a guide to gaining confidence and reaching your full potential. And it was when I put myself out there as a confident coach a little bit. I was doing some personal training. I was jujitsu, helping people with health and wellness. The clients who came to me, a lot of them too, struggled with fitness and health, and I would help them with that. And and then they started coming to me with depression, anxiety, addiction, all the above. And I wanted to have the best answers for them. And I read every self-help book I could get my hands on, but just about every book I read, it wasn't truth. There was some truth in there, but they're all written to tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Not take responsibility. You don't sell books telling people to take responsibility, and you need to put in more effort. So I didn't like any of these books. I decided to go to the mountains. And I traveled the world. I backpacked Europe. I spent over 100 hours on planes and trains writing this book. And it came from inside, and it was truth to really help people. And little did I know that as I wrote on the back of the Golden Laws of Enlightenment, little did we know it held this sacred knowledge that led me to my first full chakra Kundalini awakening. I never wanted or planned on being spiritual. It was the evolution of operating at the highest levels, which was my goal, and mastering confidence. That's what happens. You learn what we are, you connect, and you become spiritual. I never planned on having a man bun. I made fun of people who had these. Now I understand energy, and and what it does when you put it up on your crown chakra and this beard. I'll never cut my hair again. I understand that this is an extension of our body, of our nervous system. And yeah, to the first full chakra Kundalini awakening. And I was shown 10 ancient kriyas that I nobody ever taught me. I might have done one or two yoga classes. I never sat in lotus for more than 30 seconds in my life. It hurt. And I was shown, if we go deep into this, I said for a long time, God showed me, but it's more of calculations that I made, because when the fear is gone and you seek truth, as I was, you connect, and you're told, but you're accessing this information. So I taught myself, or God taught me, however you want to look at this, all these kriyas to induce a full chakra Kundalini awakening. I sat in lotus. I did prayer position for the first time in my life, tongue to the roof of the mouth, eyes up to the middle of the forehead to focus on the pineal up here, squeezes, holotropic breathing that I didn't know was a thing. When I first started inducing this state, it started with me taking 2 deep breaths. And I'm like, whoa, something's happening here. I just went with it, and I started breathing deeper and deeper. And then I was just guided to do all of this, and I was shaking violently. And I thought I was getting energy from somewhere. I thought that's why I was shaking. And years later, obviously after it happened, I looked at my friend. I'm like, what was that? He's like, I think he just had a Kundalini awakening. He was very spiritual. He took me to my first legit ayahuasca ceremony after this as well. And I'm like, what's that? I didn't even know what a Kundalini awakening was. So I started studying all this. I read every book out there. Like 2 or 3 years later, I read a book that said this shaking is another ancient kriya to help induce these advanced states. I didn't even know that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so you went through all of that and you didn't even know what it was. That is
None of it. None
nuts.
of it.
That's not
And
something
I
you
can't
hear.
find another person or yogi or anybody out here who has ever done any of this. I just dried a wet sheet for the first time in the mountains this last winter with nobody teaching me how to do that either. I learned this. It's the tummo breathing that generates this heat. I was at 16 degrees. I wrapped myself in a wet sheet and I sat there for 30 minutes on the mountain behind my awakening sanctuary, and I dried the sheet, knowing I could do this because I sat in ayahuasca ceremonies, psychedelics and ayahuasca's ceremonies, the right shaman, the right energy help induce this state. When I drive back into Sedona, I have Kundalini awakenings. They sometimes happen when I walk through the produce section at Whole Foods in Sedona. And
Hey,
when I'm in vortex sections too, there's a restaurant in Sedona on the porch. There's a vortex that induces this state in me. It's pretty remarkable and amazing. But yeah, and the sheep. So I would sit in ceremonies and everybody would be freezing and I'd be having these Kundalini awakenings, and I would have my shirt off and I'd be super warm and in control, and everybody would be huddled up and snuggled up with blankets. So I would see videos of these monks doing the sheet drying, and then I'm like, I can do that. I knew I could do that. The day prior, I did a video. I'm doing this tomorrow. And I set out and I did that. And that's at my website as well. I actually documented. I had an assistant. I documented the whole thing. It's a very powerful video. And it's on my website at the Kundalini page and on YouTube.
wow. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I haven't heard from anyone else yet, or even, the yogis and the masters. Like, they always purposefully seek out these awakenings.
Ah,
And
it's been
I mean,
20
like,
years attempting to do this.
it's every once in a while that you hear that it, like, kind of happened on accident, if you will. but
Oh, no
like
accidents.
no,
We can explore that, but yeah, go on.
yeah, no, but I never really to the extent that you had it. And I mean, yeah, performing, if you're very insecure and you want to, then going out on stage is, well, it's one hell of a way to make it happen. Like insecurity on stage, that's not gonna sell.
Not your best self.
Jujitsu will humble you fast. I have trained jujitsu for multiple years myself. I've done a few tournaments, and yeah, that will humble you fast. Um, that's why I always like sparring with the bigger guys. Um, because I mean, first of all, it's fun to humble, like just gym muscle. It's fun to humble them, and it's a good challenge as well. See if my technique can like outperform their strength, because I know they're stronger than me. I know they're bigger than I am.
Yeah,
So
but it
yeah,
teaches you what we are as well, what we're all capable of. I've never been a fan of the word humble. Only only people who do not seek truth or who are honest about their being need to be humble. Everybody else needs to be brought up and shown it and taught what we are. And yes, and if you're a little cocky and you think you can beat up people, and you step into jujitsu and you just get the floor wiped with you, that's good humbling. There's a lot of people out there who need that, but with the great guidance, and if you're taught that, to be a black belt, to win tournaments, to be great, it just takes effort, like anything else. So if we start out, most of us start out in this wrong place of thinking that there's people are born with these gifts and talent and special abilities, even athleticism. Some people are being smaller and bigger, but or even coordination. One of the saddest things I was ever told was a client who told me she didn't have the coordination gene. That's darkness. That's whispers of darkness, and only how dare you suggest that you can't put in effort and improve your coordination? Come on. Come on. But yes, jujitsu is a great game. But once we're taught that we are one, nobody's born confident with these special abilities or anything. You never need to be humble. This is where you are. You don't have to pretend. That's the problem. That's what I did. That's what I did forever until that awakening. I thought people had gifts and talent, so I pretended. I wanted to be special, so I pretended that. And then this awakening happened. I'm like, I'm done pretending. I'm done lying. It's me. It's me. I'm owning this. I'm taking responsibility for all of this. And I'm going to do everything I can to be special, to be talented, and to be good at things. I was very athletic. I played sports every day in my childhood, but I never did that great with them because I lacked the confidence. I'd step on the mat. The rest I wrestled as well. And football field, step on the mat. Did okay my senior year, but nothing special. I didn't go to state. Football in the backyard playing with family. I'm the best, fastest guy. I never dropped a ball. I get on the field. I remember they finally put me in for a kickoff, and I dropped the ball and lost the game. And it was,
oh,
once we step into our power, and I've proved all this because I struggled with wrestling and everything. Then when I became confident and I started doing jujitsu, I've became a world champion as a purple belt. I've won a lot of tournaments, and I dedicate all of that to obviously mastering the craft and putting the time on the mats. But more than anything, when you're at that level, when you put in that work and you become a brown black belt, and you're competing, what is separating people is the confidence. It is the knowing that you're capable, and not cracking when you step on that mat. You're not dropping balls, and you're knowing. It's knowing. It's not questioning. It's not. I don't teach people to believe in themselves anymore. I don't like that. I don't want you to believe in God. I don't want you to believe in anybody. I want you to know what we are. No more believing. Put in the work to know. Put in the effort to know. No more opinions. No more beliefs. No more believing. Let's put in this effort. Let's find effortful truth. Go inside, find this truth, And once you find it, you will learn that you are all powerful and all capable, just like anybody else.
Yeah, I I I hear that, and I do think with a lot of things that a lot of people still think that oh, they were like basically given this path, or they are, especially with sports, they're just genetically more superior than I am. When I have talked to people on also on the podcast, one lady who taught herself to be a medium. She wasn't born with those gifts. She developed those herself. So if you can teach yourself to be a medium, if you can teach yourself to be in contact with the other side, then like you can basically teach yourself anything. I mean, even with my podcast, like I know how I started. I know how clunky and basic it was, but you know, kept doing it, kept improving myself. Also, definitely a confidence thing because I'm talking to, well, literally strangers. Like all I know about them is whatever info I managed to find or that they have sent me.
Yeah, it should be
So
exciting though, and not scary, right?
no,
It's
it
all
is exciting.
perception. It's how, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's fear and insecurity is holding so many of us back, I believe. Or I no, not I believe. I'm
You
sorry. I
know,
know. I
yes,
I know.
yes,
Gonna have
for
to
sure. That is truth. That is the
gonna
number
have
one thing that
to
holds us all back. All fear is a
yeah.
distraction, preventing you from being your best self. Period. When you're scared, you're shy. You're less witty. You're less charming. You're less connected. That's the biggest thing. You can't be scared and connected. And when you're connected, just this beauty, you're a creator, you're one with the gods. And it's this creation and beautiful insight. That's what I want from people. I don't want your belief and opinion. I want you to take immaculate care of yourself, go to the mountains, connect, and bring me the effortful truth and original thought and creative insight. That's what we should demand. We should demand this of others because we know we should. Expectations too. I have the highest expectations of everybody, and I will sacrifice being let down sometimes to encourage others. We should demand this
Mhm.
because we need to know. That's one of the biggest problems with the world too, and modern psychology, and it's people thinking, believing that people are broken and not capable. They're not malicious. We're all good. They're not malicious. They don't know. They think that people are broken and capable. They think healing should be hard and take a long time. It's because you haven't battled your demons. This is where it all comes from. They don't know. And they comfort darkness. And when you comfort darkness, you're feeding it and you're becoming it. The quote on the back of my book and on the top of my website is, I do not welcome darkness, but I welcome you with open arms if you want me to help you leave it behind. And this is how we need to approach this world. We need to call more of it out. We need to call more of out people who aren't taking good care of themselves and blaming the past and their parents and trauma and all this. We can't allow this anymore. We put feelings above truth, and in doing so, we created so much more suffering. We need
Oh
people
yeah.
to teach people their power.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially over the last few years, it seems that feelings matter more than facts. Just because you feel that something is not appropriate, somehow it's not appropriate. Like it's coming to the point. I've seen videos on this that some lady, good looking lady, is just jogging down the streets. Man is doing some work in his garden, and he's just like, "Hey there, pretty lady," but I don't mean anything by it. It's like, why do we have to like right away apologize? Like, can't
Shouldn't.
you just give
For that,
someone a
you sure
because
can. You sure can. Do it. No, do
I
it.
mean,
If
we
someone
should
takes
be
care of themselves and is bringing much love and light to this world and is vibrant, call her beautiful, please. That's
absolutely,
ridiculous.
absolutely, but especially like nowadays as men. um, our words, our actions are so often twisted, and that's why so many.
But
And it's a shame that it's so have to like they feel a necessity to kind of apologize right after or be like, I didn't mean anything other by
that's
it than
all
just I think you're
darkness.
a pretty lady.
We can't allow that. Darkness twists all the words, all of them. They take all the words, even the word like judgment. Like judgment is literally using your brain to form a thoughtful conclusion. The definition is something like that of judgment. And everybody's like, don't judge me. How am I going to, number one, help you or learn from you if I'm not? I'm putting my energy into attempting to figure you out to either help you or me. What do you mean don't do that? It's because we're gonna figure out that it's lack of effort. We're gonna figure out that you seek blame and excuses to continue to be this way instead of going to the mountains and taking better care of yourself and putting in effort. That's why that's what darkness does. We can't allow it anymore. Stop apologizing for truth and honest words. We can't do it.
So how about, and I unfortunately know this from firsthand experience, how about that, you know, there are people that have made their darkness their identity. And if they don't have that darkness, if they don't have that pain and suffering, then they don't know who they are. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with those kind of people, if you will?
It's truth above feelings. It's you have to see that they are capable. If you really think that they're broken, you're not going to have the courage and the confidence and the power to step in and be like, no, you don't have to be like this. You have to learn what you are, number one. Stop worrying about everybody else. If you think people aren't capable, you haven't learned that you are. You haven't learned that we're one. So you need to take care of yourself first. Stop worrying about everybody else. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not being malicious, but you don't know. You're pretending right along with them, and you're comforting their darkness, you're feeding it, and you're becoming it. So you take care of yourself, number one. There's too many people out here, especially with social media. And if you have a bunch of followers, that means that you're a teacher. Now, no, it doesn't. Because if you're not ready to teach, you're just feeding darkness and you're contributing to suffering in this world. There's nothing more selfish than that. There's nothing less selfish than taking care of yourself and going to the mountains, taking immaculate care of this. That's what you need to do, number one. If you really want to seek purpose and give back to this world, you want to help people. You go, that's what I wanted to do. I started reading the books and I decided to go to the mountains and find real answers and truth. I had no business. I knew it. I knew it. I had a lot of people coming to me. I could have made money. I'm like, no, I need to find truth. I need to find answers that I know that are good. There's too much nonsense out here. You got to put
Yeah.
that work in.
There is definitely too much nonsense out there. There are now 19-year-olds, well, kids basically, who call themselves life coaches.
I
I mean,
know.
to be a life coach, don't you need to do some living first? Like, what kind of life have you had at 19 that you're able to help people live their best life? It's like, dude, you're
You're just
19. You're fresh
tripping
out of high
them.
school.
You're just tripping them. You're again. You're not malicious, but you're lacking effort, and you're not helping it. You're seeing that's the problem with the spiritual community too. And I was so excited after this last awakening to, join the spiritual community and hope to find other people who, have awakened and care about truth and understand our power. And, I found a lot of truth study in Buddhism and also metaphysics. And I went deep into that and I got my uh, doctorate of philosophy, PhD as well. And I found much truth in studying that and Buddhism that was in my book, the 100 Kicks in the Ass book. It was so nice to find truth in these. But in this spiritual community, again, this is another place where it's kids pretending, because the spiritual community, there's an in where you can say, I talk to beings or, I talk to the spirits and nobody will ever know. They tell me
Yeah.
this, so there's so many people in the spiritual community who haven't put that work in, who are taking advantage of other people and, using astrology and all these and much darkness when they haven't put in the work to study it and really, and they haven't awakened. And these are the people. This You don't listen to anybody who tells you that healing takes a long time. Healing is hard. You have to have the dark night of the soul. Those are your red flags right there. Those aren't people teaching you your power. Those are people who want to, the trauma coaches and the trauma therapists. They're just like psychology therapists, where it's a system created to keep you in the dark, keep you in this low vibration, talking about all the bad things that happen and why you're so traumatized. And they do this because they don't have anything else to offer. If they battled their demons, if they stepped into their power, they could teach you how to be confident and to overcome, and that everything's a choice and a decision. You either decide that that made you broken and traumatized, or you decide that it made you stronger and wiser. That's a choice there. That's what needs to be taught.
Yeah. And I think it's good that you're mentioning that you also see this too much in psychology, psychiatry, that the like through professionals. I have struggled with myself, my being for the longest time, and things that have happened to me. And there was only at least in more recent years, there's only been one therapist who has truly helped me, but that's because she came at it from a more shamanic perspective. And she had me go through all the layers of myself. And I'm a smart guy. I fool many psychologists by just telling them what they want to hear. And they agreed with me and said that, oh, good, you're learning. And I was like, good, can I go home? Um, but she didn't fall for it. When I gave her the answer that she wanted to hear, she called me out on it. She said, yes,
Right.
that is exactly what I want you to say. But is that also what is that actually happening? Is that what you're actually feeling? And I'm just sitting there like, oh crap. Okay, I got to do actual work. I'm not fooling this one. But she has helped me tremendously, and I honestly I don't think I would have come out of the dark period that I was in as well if it
Without
wasn't for
her.
her, and literally just calling me out on it, like, yes, that's what you're supposed to say. What's the
Love it.
actual answer?
Love it. Yeah. A lot of my clients and students who have come to me said that they've been through therapists, and one of my sessions helped them more than years and years of therapy. It does nothing. It keeps you in the darkness. They don't teach you power. I don't I don't like doing these one-on-one sessions unless somebody's here. I do offer awakening sessions for just
Mhm.
$100, per people, but I don't offer them. I don't say we need to do these every week or multiple times a week. I give you a bunch of homework. My enlightenment protocol is free, and I teach you your power. And too many of these therapists have been brought up in this system. They just have very little to offer. They just vent, and even shamans too, my man. It's about every ceremony I've ever sat in. It's just a cry session. And the shaman, here in America at least, they're struggling. They're sick. They're filled with darkness because they're comforting and feeding darkness and becoming it. It's what happens. You can't do that. You can't do that. And these ceremonies are just like therapist sessions. They're not telling you to get up and sing and dance and celebrate life. There's not a proper presentation. It's not teaching people their power. It's okay if you have a cry in a ceremony, but it's not okay to just sit there and feel bad and cry, boo-hoo, poor me, mommy and daddy are mean, tears of darkness. Now, tears of repentance, tears of understanding, tears of ecstasy, those are beautiful tears, but just soaking there in the corner and feeling bad, and they allow this. Because they know that if they tell you no, you need to take responsibility for your creation, that they're going to lose a client. And that's the struggle, and that's the problem. But we're not going to get anywhere until we start calling it out as she called you out. We have to do it. We have to put truth above feelings. You know, we don't have to be brutal or mean. That's how most people interpret truth as. If but no, they don't know, and they're never going to know unless you teach them. You to take this responsibility, and you are not your experiences. You're not your past. There's always a choice. There's always a decision every second. You never wake up traumatized or angry at the world. Even people who are angry all the time too. You don't have anger issues. You don't have bottled anger. They're creations. You have to own this. It's not inside of you. I don't like that people teach that to the world either. It's so dark, pretending that people have this anger inside of them. That's not how it works. If you if you enter if there's situations and you decide not to get angry, but then you're deciding that that's good, the next one's going to make you more angry. It's all creation, all of it. I promise you. I see your eyes, and you're thinking.
Yeah,
I
but
promise
I
you.
mean, I have dealt with anger issues for a great part of my
I sense
teenage
that.
years. I had no way of relieving that anger. So for me, the only thing that I could do was keep it in. But I had no way of alchemizing it. I had no way of expressing it other than beating up my classmates and getting suspended again.
No, that's not how it works. I promise you. So with this, let's go a little deeper into it. Me too. I know everybody says they had a mean dad, but my dad, he didn't physically abuse me, but one of the reasons why I lived in this panic was because of that's what he taught me. He taught me this fear and this anger, and he very verbally abusive, and he was angry at everything. The last time I saw him, he's still throwing things and hitting things, and his arms and hands are crippled from getting mad and hitting things. Like he can't bow hunt anymore. That was his, yeah, very this all this anger. I the last one of the last drives I took with him, we were leaving the airport and we were going out to the land, to some new land that he got. And there was a car like a mile ahead of us that turned onto the street to start going. And he got angry, and he stepped on the gas and got angry like the car was turning out in front of him. And even stepping on the gas and catching up with them, still he didn't have to put on the brakes. So there's people out there who just who just seek for, yeah, it's so, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? The car turned out, it wouldn't have affected us at all. He wouldn't have had to brake. It was so far ahead, and he hit the gas to like catch up to it, to try to make it into a situation for him to be angry about.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. But
Yeah.
that's what people do in a lot of situations. They just dig to try to find things because that's all they know. But it's it's a creation. It's not inside of him. This is what he is deciding to be. Again, every second and every moment. You don't, it's not bot, it's a creation. It's 100,000 proof. Where is it? It's not stored inside of you. This trauma too, it's not stored inside of you. If you're deciding to be angry, if you're deciding to be traumatized and you're in this fearful state and you're this tension and you're blocking your chakras and you're tense and you're not allowing this energy flow and you're in this low vibration, you're harming all of your cells. So it's not the experience, it's the reaction from the experience, and you continuing to create those emotions and that anger and stay in this fearful low vibration. That's what's hurting you. It's not the trauma. It's not the experience. The trauma is you doing it. This is deep repentance and taking response. It's you creating this tension. It's you creating this low vibration that's damaging your cells. You can stop doing that right now. There's still going to be damage. There's still going to be trauma. There's still going to be damage to your cells. You're in this
Mhm.
low vibrational state where there's much disease. You wreaked havoc on your body. You probably have parasites. Your cells aren't supercharged with life and a high vibration. You're probably drinking alcohol, eating other poisons. Your body's filled with toxins. There's so many things, but it's not that experience. It's not that experience. It's not seeing anger or being taught anger or fear at one time. It's you deciding to continue to create it.
Yeah.
Every second is a new opportunity and chance. Every morning, you're not angry in the morning. Nobody's angry in the morning. It's you start thinking. You start thinking about all that God hates you and life is so unfair and your parents were mean and you've had all these bad experiences. You're creating that right now. You're deciding to be that right now. It's not in you. You don't have to be that anymore. And when you have, it's all gone. My awakening, it was all gone. It was no, not all of it, but that is when I vowed to get rid of it, and it did take some time, but I didn't have guidance. It doesn't have to though. But it's all a decision. Then there's after that, I started healing. I started putting better things in myself. I was damaged. I was traumatized, not from the event, from me living in that state. We got to own that. If you want to get anywhere, if you want to awaken, if you want to operate at higher levels, you want energy to flow, you want to be high vibrational life and bring as much love and light to this world as you can, you have to own it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. It is easy to get stuck in a loop. And come to think of it, perhaps that is what was happening back then, because I have had a few experiences, and subconsciously, unconsciously, however you wanna call it, what I was doing, I was creating those situations and reacting in ways as I have always reacted. And because I was 13, 14, 15 years old, I really didn't know any better. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, that they're all decisions, they are all choices that you make. I have made several choices in my life that have led me onto different paths. Not always the paths that I perhaps should have been walking, but I have learned from those paths, absolutely. And one of the most recent ones, it's funny that you mentioned alcohol. One of the more recent paths for me is sobriety, because I had trouble with um, limiting myself. And whenever I felt, well, down or stressed or, a little angry, there was always something that, you know, made me feel better, or that I could at least numb it. And having to go through all these emotions, all these, go on the path that I am, wherever it may lead me. I have a few ideas of where I want to be, but having to go through it sober after so long, and also having a history of substance abuse, it's hard, but it's a choice. And I can honestly say that I am happy with the choice that have made. And I can see in my surroundings, my family, my wife, they are all very happy with, the choice that I've made. So that for me is
Of course.
just confirmation that I have made the right choice, and this is something um, that I should adhere to, that I am adhering to.
So very happy to hear that, and muchas gracias. Thank you for making that choice to bring us more love and light, to be your better self. One more thing here, though. This is not hard. That was hard. Going to the gym is not hard. Sitting on the couch and stuffing your face is hard. Not experiencing life is hard.
Yeah.
Experiencing life is not hard. We need to change our thoughts about this, and thinking that work is hard, effort is hard. No, not working, not putting in effort. That's what makes everything hard. And we shouldn't look at things as hard or easy. I mean, what is that anyway? That's interpretation, as I just proved. It's what's
Mhm.
necessary. That should be our only concern. What is necessary for me to get to where I want to be? That is the only what's hard in what does that matter? If it's hard, oh no. Oh no, this is what does that matter? That's nothing. Deciding that why would you even go there? It's necessary. It's necessary. I recommend we work out every 2 to 3 days, full body workout. It improves everything. It's not just for muscle, it's for your joints, it's for your mobility, flexibility, and your
Yeah.
brain, your gut, digestion, everything. That's not hard. What's hard is moping around and not being coordinated and not being mobile and not being able to do hikes and your brain not working and brain fog. And so who cares about
That.
hard and
Yeah.
easy? What's necessary? What's necessary?
Yes, you're yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, hard, easy, they're perspectives. What can be hard for you can be easy for me, and vice versa. It doesn't make it
This
easy, it
isn't
doesn't make it
yeah.
hard. It's a personal thing. It's a personal experience. And as someone who, does live an active lifestyle, I do go to the gym. I do plan on going back into the dojo at least. I want to pick up boxing or kickboxing again. Um, I've done jujitsu for the longest time, and mm, yeah. Well, I'm a little
Well, I
feeling a
just got an
little.
approval yesterday. I drove to Las Vegas yesterday. That's where I had my back fusion. I had my back was fused a year before my Kundalini awakening. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, I went back to my back surgeon because I want the hardware out, and I talked to him about an AC tear I have right here. This is what's prevented me from continuing to train. And he laughed at it. I'm like, I don't want this to rip off. I thought it was like one stage 1 or 2 tear, and it can rip more and it can rip off, and I have emergency surgery. It just sounded like it was bound to happen. And he laughed at it. He's like, no, that's just a blemish. Go compete. I'm like, what? This has been holding me back for years. This happened so long ago. So after leaving there, I called the black belt in Cottonwood here, Clay, um, one of my favorite training partners ever, one of the best on my level. There's few people out there who are on, A+ level who've competed as long as I have and has success. He's amazing. And he's an amazing training partner. And I called him up. I said, what's new? And he said he's been competing. He's won like 4 tournaments this year. And he took over. Greg Maynard used to own the jujitsu place here, the singer of Tool. He has a place in Cottonwood. Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
he's really busy with his music and everything still. So I guess he sold it to Clay and he took over. I'm super happy for him. And he's like, World's Camp starts Tuesday. Be there. I'm like, I guess so. So it looks like I think I made that decision. Um, Weird timing. Today I decided to be a frutivore as well. And I was considering being a breatharian this week. I had my last meal in Las Vegas last night, and I am now a fruitarian. And I don't see myself going back. My enlightenment protocol, it has the most high vibrational foods and nuts and potatoes and some grains like lentils. And I was doing millet, but I'm giving up nuts, potatoes, lentils, and millet. I'm just doing fruit now. I sense after the golden laws came to me, I had this new awareness with food. I could hold something and understand the vibrational quality and what it's going to do to me when it goes through you. Like if I holding fruit and holding meat, both are very nutritious. You could argue the meat is more nutritious than the fruit because there's so many amazing things in it. There's a lot of bad stuff in it too. And I'm not even talking about the karma and the energy of this death. It's a very complex, very challenging thing to digest that doesn't give you energy as other things do. And yeah. We can get I can do a whole podcast on that. But so I've been so yeah, I'm a fruitarian now, and it looks like I'm competing in the Worlds in Vegas December, half midway through December. We have a 5-week camp. So I'm gonna start training again here too. I'm so excited. This I thought I was gonna rip off if I kept. And I looked into surgeries and I thought I had to put a screw in it. So
Oof.
yeah, really that was a good day yesterday.
That's awesome. Congrats. Really.
But
That's a 5-week training camp. That's gonna be intense. For Worlds, that's gonna be intense for sure. But hey, it's for a great competition. That's awesome. And on the diets, I am going to touch it as someone who loves food and whose family definitely
I
loves
sense that you
food.
eat meat too.
I do. Yeah, I do. I actually, well, I don't want to say mostly eat animal products, but I do a lot. I try to
Been there.
limit myself to chicken and beef though.
Let me tell
Or
you one thing.
chicken, beef, fish, because I am in the Netherlands. Can't go without herring. Um,
Fish is a lot better than beef and chicken. And yeah, I miss it too. It's good stuff. But I know that it's not I vowed to operate at the highest levels. And I know that there's better things, and I can get the things that is in meat with supplements. I take a very high quality. I'm still I'm probably the biggest yogi on the planet. I don't want this muscle anymore. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm eating I've been eating one meal a day and some fruit and amino acids and supplements. And I still train and work like every day, climbing mountains. I have my Kundalini dojo here, my gym. That's amazing, and it won't go away. I'm the same size as I was when I was eating meat 3 times a day.
that's
I'm
a
the
lot
same
though.
size. It's nonsense. Protein is nonsense. It's all nonsense. All food is nonsense. I feel like I could stay this size well, I'm going to do it on just fruit and juicing some vegetables and minerals more than anything. It's these minerals that we need and the amino acids, and you can get a high quality amino acid now. I hold the aminos like I do fruit and like I do my celery juice every day. And I have a relationship with it as I do ayahuasca. I would never just take a ayahuasca and just chug it down. No, I welcome it. I connect with the plant spirits. I hold it to my heart and have much gratitude before I drink it. I do that with this celery juice and even these amino acids. I found some high quality ones, perfect aminos. Um, I know what these are going to do to me. I can feel the vibrational quality, and I know that they're going to greatly benefit me. And I think these aminos have been. It's this muscle's not going anywhere. Again, now that I'm competing, I'm glad I have it, and I was a wrestler, so it's better to compete at heavyweight than middle. But for the last couple of years, I'm releasing this book, The Golden Laws of Enlightenment, and I'm this yogi, but I have this muscle. Like I've been trying to get rid of it. It's not going anywhere. I barely eat. I obtain energy from my morning routine, which is part of my enlightenment protocol. I go outside every day and I ground and I'm naked in the sun and I'm doing my Kundalini warrior warm up movements, and more than anything, it's mentality. It's mentality. It's passion for life. I do everything. I play every instrument. I want to see the whole world. I have so many books in the work. I love my social media videos. Make sure everybody follows me on social media. Go to nickeaglemystic.com and my social media there and Enlightenment Protocol and everything. I love doing my social media videos every day, these deep sacred teachings and some funny ones. And I'm just passionate about everything. And that's where I keep this energy. And that's why I don't lose any of this. It's mentality more than anything. It really is.
I mean,
I don't think we need food.
there is something to it because I have semi recently spoken to an alchemist, like an actual practicing alchemist who like has his own lab and everything, absolutely amazing.
Physical.
And he did say that through the elixir of life, the philosophers stone, which is a real thing, um, that if you take the elixir of life, that you should stop eating, that you should stop drinking, because it is actually the food and the drink that we intake that is deteriorating our body. That's
Yep.
why like antioxidants are a thing, because apparently, you know, part of the regular human diet is oxidizing. And like we know there is like, iron in your blood, etc. If that gets oxidized, it's bad stuff, like rusty blood. Not sure if that's a thing. Either way, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Um
Why we sleep. The less and less I eat, the less I sleep. I feel like I'm not sleeping anymore. I'm really curious on this frutivore diet. What's going to happen too? I don't when I'm not eating that much. I don't really. I feel like I go into a deep meditation and I get work done and I think and I figure things out and I go deep and I don't feel like I sleep anymore unless I eat a big meal like I did yesterday. Last night I was the
yeah.
first time where I felt like I was like sleeping off because I had to do this extra healing. We shouldn't call it sleeping even. We should call it healing. Our full brain is active. We're healing, we're processing things, we're detoxing. But yeah, I love that. That's where I know this. I know that I've entered states where I don't need food, water, or sleep. I've entered those. Um, I think the first time was when I had the first Kundalini awakening. Actually, that night I'm like I knew I was in a state. It didn't last. It didn't last that long. I did sleep that night, but just going deeper into this now, my only question is I know we don't need it, but would we do better if we did take some aminos and juice some vegetables to get these extra these minerals? I feel like we need minerals and aminos and some vitamins, and I think we could do better if we got some of
I mean,
those. And we
the
weren't drinking too much water to flush out the system. We're not eating these complex foods that are that you lose more energy than gain by eating them. That's what I sense now. So I'm experimenting. I was going to do the breatharian thing this week. I really was. I sense that again. You do have to operate at the highest levels. You do have to be in this advanced state, this hyper gamma state. You have to be there to be able to do that. So you got to go to the mountains and leave behind all fear before you consider doing something like that. But I now know I can since I had this awakening. Just everything I've eaten, I went vegan and I didn't do well. I went back to meat for a while. It destroyed me. Went vegan. I tried meat one more time, completely ruined me. That's when I vowed to never touch it again. And then back to vegan and I still sense that's why I'm giving up the nuts, potatoes, and lentils. I'm sensing that they're doing more damage than good.
I mean, there is something to it, because like I know, for example, when I'm busy with a big project, if that's like the first thing that I do, in the morning, because like I'm so excited for it, I can go hours without eating, without drinking, because I'm so focused on what I am doing. And I love doing this. I love working on my channel. I love podcasting. I love being creative. Um so I don't feel the hunger. I don't feel thirsty. It's more of um that
Mentality.
as soon as I get out of the flow state, if you will, out of the hyper
Yep.
focus on what
Yep.
I'm doing, that I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten anything today. I should eat
Yep.
something, because that is something that you are supposed to do. It's not because I'm like actually hungry. I mean, a while later, I might, feel hungry because I'm like coming down from that flow state, and body starts just doing its thing again. Um, but it's more so that, oh, I should be eating,
It's
because
plugging back into
it's
this world. Yeah. I
Yeah, because
know
it's like
that.
4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I only, like, had my cup of morning tea and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that I could go up to the physical mountains and sit there for days on end. I know that I can do that. It's plugging back into this world and being a part of this world where, I think that's when we need more substances to survive.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too. I know if I feel sense one day that I will become a breatharian. And I know that I'm going to have to make some changes. Even with my videos and the energy that I bring to my social media videos, a lot is going to have to change for me to stay up there and not be connected back into this world where we need more of the food and physical things.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like as soon as you're back into, well, let's say physical reality, you need the physicality, you need the physical substance again. If you're in the flow state, if you're in the hyper focus, if you're in, well, if you're operating pure on spirits, purely on a energetic level, then you don't need all of that. Like, also, that's, I mean, like, you're a jujitsu guy, like, you know that as well. It's when, when you're rolling on the mats, it's when you're, when you're training, it's when you're sparring, like, you feel good. You're in that flow state. The adrenaline is high. It's as soon as you step off the mat and you get back in the car and the high kind of dissipates. It's like, oh God, I'm sore. Like, what have I been doing? So I do think that, I do feel that you are right, as in
Not the adrenaline
food.
though. Not the adrenaline though. The adrenaline comes from a fight or flight and fearful response. And flowing is not, there's something much more magical happening than adrenaline
Yeah,
and
that's
and and
that's
re-
true.
and, and releasing these other chemicals. I when we're in that flow state, it's when we're supercharged and we're balanced. If we start releasing those chemicals, then we become unbalanced. And then we have this, withdrawal period as well, and we're brought down. The flow state is this perfect harmony and balance, and we're not releasing excessive chemicals such
Yeah,
as
you're not
adrenaline.
you're not thinking, you're just doing.
Being,
Yeah,
yeah,
being, yeah, being, doing. You are in that moment. Um,
my DMT
so,
trip. Um, One of my DMT trips, the thing that I took out of it was, I think I wrote this in my first book. Um, it's not even, what came to me was, don't even just be. There's just being. That's one thing. What came to me was just.
okay.
Yeah, it's not just being, just doing. It's not adding a word to that because that's still orchestrated. It's it's not even just accepting. It's not just being it's just it's all of that is gone. There's no orchestration.
I mean, we do put it in front of everything, and we always want, things and people to be
Just be
just.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah, just be happy, just do this, just be that, just be there. It's
Just.
always, yeah. Hmm.
That's
Oh,
good,
that's a
right?
that's a good one to think about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hadn't thought
Yeah, it
about
is.
it that way.
Yeah, right? That's some deep stuff. Title of the
Oh,
podcast?
man. Oh, man. I mean, this is why I love, why I love podcasting, why I love talking to, well, individuals like yourself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
coming to
I,
conclusions that, like, I would have never thought about. And English isn't even my main language. English is my second language, but I can, like, still translate it
nice.
to Dutch, to my native tongue. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've often said that I've learned more in, what's it been, like, 4 years of podcasting. I've learned more about society. I've learned more about people. I've learned more about how this world, the next world, whatever other worlds there may be, how it all works than I have done in 18, 20 years of school.
right?
Um, just
Well,
by just by talking to people.
and leaving that alcohol behind too. And again, you have to, number one, you have to do everything you can to operate at the highest levels. And you have to make these calculations. You have to leave behind the fear. You have to be able to calculate how foolish it is. You have to be able to calculate what you are, that it's a possibility, that you're capable of doing so, that it's a choice. You have to learn that. That's a calculation you have to make. You're never going to make it drinking alcohol every day and live it and not taking care of this and poison yourself with this all the unlimited nonsense that's in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I work as a security guard. I still or at the moment work a lot of festivals and just the bigger indoor parties, indoor festivals. I do not like the kind of parties where people drink a lot.
Can't do them anymore.
It's always messy. It's
It's
always
just
messy,
sloppy,
and
so sloppy. And it's
yeah.
darkness, especially too when you're shining. All those demons see you, and you, I was in Vegas yesterday. I filmed I got my last meal, and, and then I did some filming where I filmed my TV show just to do a goofy video on
Mhm.
an escalator where I had my intro to the show, and I had my line, I break a sweat 6 days a week. I did a little video there and just walking back, just everybody's just sloppy and drunk. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. It was so bad. And the festivals too are so disappointing. I had my first Kundalini awakening at Burning Man. That was actually where it happened. And I loved it. It was a beautiful experience. And I went back a few years ago, and there's so much drinking. And I was so excited to go back to my home where this happened, and it was sloppy, and it just ruins it. And I went to a Desert Hearts festival not far from here in Flagstaff. I was hoping to have some. It was just drinking and sloppy, and it's alcohol just ruins everything. We need to get away from it. We got to
Alcohol
call it
is
out. We got
a
to get away from it. The post that I'm posting today is Conor McGregor just had his spiritual awakening, and I called him out. I called him out recently, so I'm taking credit for it. I used to support him. I love people who step into confidence. I was a big supporter. I did a Fox News radio show in Las Vegas when he was fighting Mayweather, and I brought my $1,000 ticket. I put $1,000 on him. I know Mayweather's confident too, but I had McGregor, and he would like my tweets, and he retweeted it or replied to it as well, so he sees my
Mhm.
tweets. And not too long ago, I sent out a message and I called him out. I said, "You're bringing the world nothing but darkness. You're abusing substances. You're selling people poison. You need to wake up." And he blocked me. So he definitely saw it. Now he had this awakening. So I'm taking credit for it. It was all me. You're welcome, world.
I mean, that does seem to be a thing with so many of these celebrities, if you will, to have their own line
Poison.
of
The Rock.
spirits.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, The
they're
Rock
all
has
they
these.
have all sold their soul in selling alcohol.
The
All of
Rock
them. And I
has.
mean,
I mean, he
that's
has
the
his energy
driver at the
drinks as well.
festivals and all the music performances and concerts. That's how most of the money is made, with this alcohol. And we need more people stepping up and saying no to it. And a few artists are doing it right now. There's going to be a lot more of it. We're drinking less and less. We're waking up. We're getting away from all of it. But that's what drives everything. The UFC. Everybody. That's where the majority of the money is made. Bars, restaurants make more money selling alcohol than food. It's
I
like,
know.
how do we beat
I
this? We need
I
people
worked
stepping
as
up
a
and taking a little pay cut for the betterment of us.
I worked as a cook and as a chef, sous chef for a decade plus. I am aware of the margins on the food. It is so
Yeah.
incredibly slim. Like if you want, if a
Yep.
restaurant wants to make money off of the food that they're selling, they're gonna have to like sell it at a markup that nobody's gonna buy it for. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's
It's such
always
a fight. It's
why
such a fight.
that's
I
always
waited
why all
tables. I
those cute
bartended. Yeah.
waitresses, yeah, that's why
Yeah.
the cute waitresses come to you and are like, would you like another? I mean, I worked behind the bar as well, on at
That's how
festivals
I
or
made
like
my tips.
at
If
a
they're not drinking, I knew that my tips were 50% less too.
exactly, and like especially
So I'm
Europe,
slanging it.
Northern Europe,
How would
we're
you like to
a
try a nice crisp margarita? We have this blend from Mexico imported directly to us. We're the only people in the state to have it, and we have fresh organic limes that are grown on our trees in our garden. You know. And I was
yeah.
that person selling my soul to promote this poison, and oh, we're learning.
Yes, yes, thankfully we are, but I mean it's also good to have worked in those industries, to have worked with those poisons, because you know firsthand what it's like. I mean, Northern Europe, we're a beer drinking people. We love our beers. And
Everywhere.
I
I'm
mean,
from Wisconsin too. Yeah.
I remember the one that was training me behind the bar telling me that you can see by the phone rings in the glass how many sips it takes them for them to empty their glass. So if they're at the second or the final sip before they've taken it, ask if they want another one.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, like you're able to see it. It's like, oh, he's three rings down, fourth one is his last one. Would you like
Yeah,
another?
because if they drink it all, then in their mind they're like, I'm done. But if they're not done, yeah. Oh,
Exactly. And you offer them another. I mean, it would be
oh,
impolite to turn down an offer, right?
that too.
Not thinking that you're paying for it still.
You ready for another
Yeah.
one? It's not even, do you want to buy another drink? It's, you ready for another one? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even asking. It's just assumption,
yeah.
really. In the form of a question, of course, to still
And you want
kind
you
of
want to start
make
with
it
that
about
too,
them.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's an odd world we live in, but um there's much to learn. There's much to do still, and I am very happy that there are people like you. A lot of I'm meeting them and seeing them more and more who are so passionate about this. I mean, you can see the passion, like you really you radiate that passion. You want a better world, for your not
Yeah,
even for
I
yourself, but
you
for
have
just
to.
for everyone else. I mean, yourself too, but yeah.
You have to really step into this power. Again, it's what I pride myself on, obviously the confidence, but finding the words too. I'm glad I was an English bachelor degree. I'm glad I got my PhD. It's and this is what I tell everybody who, on X or on social media or who challenges me, that who are giving up on people. Not everybody wants to heal. You can't help everybody. No. Challenge yourself to find the confidence in words. I promise you, you can. Stop saying you can't, and some people are hopeless, and stop giving up on people. No, you need to put in more work and effort to find the words and confidence. Even with kids. Oh, when parents say, oh, he's just a teenager, he's just being a teenager. What does that mean? No, he's doing foolish things that might harm his entire life because you didn't properly guide him. It's not your kid's fault. People blaming their kids. Oh, he's just shy. Oh, you want to get me going? Say he's just shy, like he was born being shy, and that's not on you. No, we need to take more responsibility for our power. How dare you suggest you can't teach a child confidence? That's the number one thing I write about in this book too. My number one teaching is we need to stop kids from having kids. You stop getting married and having kids in your 20s. You go to the mountains first. You should have no business having a child if you have not mastered confidence, if you have not mastered how to teach somebody confidence, if you haven't mastered how to teach a kid confidence. There should be no thought in your mind about having one, or they're going to suffer as you. You're not learning with your kid. Your kid isn't teaching you anything. Your kid is taking on all of your darkness and suffering there right with you. If you had a kid when you were young, I'm not mad at you. It wasn't your fault. You don't know better, but you teach people, my kid would have suffered less if I went to the mountains first. That's the number one thing we need to teach the world. Everybody just wants to say my kid was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so glad I had a kid. Just have kids. The Christians do this too. I went to an event in Phoenix, and Prager was on stage, Dennis Prager, and he said, nobody ever is going to know how to teach a kid. Just have them, or something like that. And thousands of people are like cheering. I'm like, no, what?
What?
No,
No,
don't just
that's
have
the
kids. Nobody will ever be able to teach a child anything. Like that's no, no, just have them. No, what are you doing? They're just going to sit in that church pew with you and be scared like you are. Stop.
that is
Stop.
the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Like as you just
Oh,
said, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not going to properly teach your kids, don't have them. I mean, then like literally wrap it up. Just wrap
they're
it up.
not
It's that
solving your
that easy.
problems. They're not,
They're
they're creating a distraction, so you're never going to be able to go to the mountains.
and I'm sorry
You
for
have
a
18
lot for a
years.
lot of. I'm sorry. I'm also going to say this because I know a lot of people will, do think that way. They're also not going to save your marriage. Having a child, if you're in a
They're not
bad
going to save
marriage,
anything. And
no.
unfortunately, too many women are in their mid-20s thinking that a kid is going, they're gonna tackle the world with their kid. No, they're not. They're gonna become distracted. You're done learning. It's time to teach. If you do it, halfway right, you have to spend your time with them. But then if you have nothing to teach, you're just on the couch watching TV with them anyway. It's like
I mean, just
it's
at that point, just get a dog. Just get a dog. Get a cat. Like
no, no, don't do that either. No, then you're gonna have a rotten dog. You have to know how to.
oh
You have to no. It's another
yeah, okay,
distraction. No,
yeah,
no
fair.
cats, no dogs, no kids. Mountains, 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 mountains. Physically, literally, take care of. Learn some stuff. Learn. It doesn't work like that. I promise. I distracted myself with dogs. And relationships too when I was young. I went from girl to girl to girl. I was in a relationship for a week or two. It's this the only thing on my mind is, oh, I need to find a girl or I'm gonna be lonely the rest of my life. It's such a just stop. Put it down. No, put it
Yeah,
down.
I I
Mountains.
have I have um that reputation as well. My family, especially my mother and my sister, of course, the two women, two of the most important women in my life. They call me a serial monogamist because I am
Yeah.
never.
No,
I don't think I've ever been single for more than a few months,
knock it
really,
off.
and that's like from the age of.
No.
I want to say like from the age of 15 when I had my first like long time girlfriend. That was almost 3 years that we've been together. I was never longer with without a girlfriend for a few months. So yeah.
What is your day spent doing if you're not fighting? What are we doing for lunch? What are we doing for dinner? Parents coming this weekend? What are we doing Saturday? What movie we watching tonight? No, no, knock
Yeah,
it off.
I it's been a process. Definitely, I have made some hmm, poor choices. But I am learning. I have learned a lot already, and I am happily married now. So I can confidently say that I am on. This may sound bad, but I am on my final one. And honey, I know you're gonna watch this. I know you're gonna listen to this. Trust me, I love you. Okay, don't take this the wrong way. I do love you. Uh,
Hopefully, you guys give each other space, though, and you've learned the importance of that. It's okay not to
we
spend every
do.
minute together, not be constantly texting, what are you doing? What are we doing later? And you're having your own time, too. You're taking days to yourself. That doesn't mean you don't love them any less. It's so important to be in a healthy relationship that still enables you to go to the
Yeah,
mountains and get some work done. Because you go do that, and then you bring it back to the nest, and then you learn and evolve concepts and ideas and go find deeper truth with that. And it has to be done that way if you're going to do it, especially getting married young, and especially if you haven't spent too much time in the mountains. You still need to be able to do that.
I mean, I'm from the Netherlands. Best we can do is hills. I think.
Only hills there.
Remember it? Yeah, I mean, we have some. we have some proper woods here. I do try to spend as much time in nature
I'm good with woods.
as I
Woods
can.
woods are fine too.
I
Mountaintops
mean,
are I still recommend, even if you have to drive a little bit, to do some mountaintops. They're special. There's so much wisdom to be gained on the tops of them. As I said, I love Bear Mountain back here.
I'd probably have to go to France or Italy for some proper mountaintops.
There's some proper mountaintops in France for sure, and Switzerland. I took the when I backpacked
Mm.
Eastern Europe, I went through Interlaken, some of the most beautiful plane or train trips, and went up into the mountain ranges there, the Swiss Alps. Yeah, I went mountain biking in the Swiss Alps as well and climbed one. And
Yeah, it's beautiful. Europe has a lot to offer. Some deep dark woods in Germany, some beautiful mountaintops in Switzerland, beautiful lakes in Italy, and much more. Also, Northern Europe, the glacier lakes in Scandinavia are so beautiful.
the French Alps. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, this has been one hell of a chat. This has been very, very passionate. I don't remember the last one when it was this passionate, if I ever had a passionate one like this. So, man, thank you so much. And I come out of this having learned even more, even more to think about or ponder
I,
over again.
I love this. I love being this person more than anything that I do is, helping people with spiritual guidance is bringing fire to your eyes. That's what I love more than anything. But that's what I ask of people too, of you and the listeners, what it was gained today. And if you get my book, The Golden Laws of Enlightenment, what is gained to not be lost? Don't lose it. Don't plug back into the world. Don't distract yourself. Make some notes. Take some notes right now, and don't lose it. Keep that fire too. And I ask that because I put so much energy into this, and whenever I pass on this fire to other people, I ask that you honor it, and you pass it on to this world as well with the stuff that you've taken from me today. I ask that of all my guests who come here. I make them check that when they complete the booking request as well, and so please, yeah, please keep this fire, make some notes, don't lose it, give it back to the world. Again, nickeaglemystic.com. My social media is there. Follow me on X or Threads, and then Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. My Enlightenment Protocol, check it out. The Kundalini page, if that interests you. And Sedona is one of the most magical places in the world, one of the few places that I can live now. And I'd love to welcome you at my Awakening Sanctuary. And a link for that is at my website too. And honored to be here. Such a great talk. I feel great about this too. You charged me as well. Sometimes I do these podcasts and I feel depleted, but people who seek truth as you do, and people who honor the teachings that I bring charge me as well and make me feel good about it. So I thank you as well.
I'm glad I was able to do that. You're very welcome. And of course, to my lovely audience, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And as Nick said, make notes. There is so much passion in this. I've put a lot of passion in my podcast as well. So, liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving something nice in the comments. Um, that's what's keeping me going. For more on the Greyhorn Pagans podcast, Tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans, or Greyhorn Pagans in general, go to our website, www.greyhornpagans.com. Please do support us on Patreon or via channel membership. A lot of time goes into this, a lot of effort goes into this, and I would love to do this full time. Just giving you the wisdom that you all deserve, giving you all the knowledge and the amazing guests like Master Nick Eagle that you all deserve, and you can make that happen through Patreon or channel memberships. So yeah, thank you all again for watching and listening. I will catch you all next time. Bye bye, everyone.
That now.
This was yet another amazing episode of the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. We thank you all for watching. We thank you all for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will be notified whenever we upload something new. Support us on Patreon for early access and for everything else that we do with the tribe, for everything else that we do with the podcast. Find us on www.greyhornpagans.com. For now, we thank you, and until next time.